I started recording. I think you heard a little chime indicating that we're recording the presentation. So just want to say thank you for joining and look forward to answering any questions you might have after I finish my presentation. But thank you for coming here this morning. We're looking at ASM as a school of the future, looking at our mission and vision as we work forward. And I started with this this photo of my daughter. I think in a couple of ways, this photo says it all. Joyous learning. Nina's happy to be there. She's excited about learning. The values, affection, and care demonstrated by Nina's Aunt Kelly are evident in her teachings that life can burst from a little black bean with the right amount of sunlight, water, and attention. But it's not guaranteed. It requires dedication, sacrifice, patience, and love. So each day it's something new. So again, welcome, bienvenue. It is a pleasure to see you joining me here today. I do want to say thank you to recognize you as a parent for what you do each day. You know, especially during this pandemic, I know we've all taken on extra roles and parents especially in these extraordinary times. So it's an honor to be a member of this special community and as a parent and a leader entrusted to help steer ASM into the future. So the title of this presentation is ASM, a mission to inspire, innovate, and cultivate. So all of us are part of this community because we believe in the mission of ASM. So it's one that emphasizes curiosity, creativity, and care. You know, we may differ on the particulars, but the essential elements of our mission statement resonate with our individual beliefs. Otherwise, why would you know, you and your child be here instead of another school? So, and these beliefs relate to the skills and knowledge and dispositions to cultivate in our students, in ourselves, to lead purposeful and meaningful lives. So as we co-envision ASM 3 or 5 years from now, I think we'd all agree that our preference is for ASM to be a school of the future rather than a museum of the past. A few years ago, the World Economic Forum actually began to talk about the fourth industrial revolution and how it's distinct from previous ones in several ways. One, its velocity, the scope, and systems impact. Second, it would be exponential rather than linear. And then thirdly, it's very disruptive. And these have profound impacts or implications for us in education and what we do here at ASM. So certainly change is underway. You know, if the pandemic weren't disruptive enough, you know, Deloitte predicted pre-pandemic major disruption lies ahead with regard to the future of work. You know, the message is clear. We should all become comfortable with being uncomfortable, especially with regard to education and the future of work for our students and for ourselves, where creativity, entrepreneurialism, and cosmopolitanism are among valued traits. So at the turn of last century, you know, the great John Dewey, the educational philosopher out of Teachers College in New York and Chicago's lab school, you know, he wrote in The School and Society at the turn of the century that what the best and wisest parent wants for his child, that must all society want for their own children. And any other ideal would be unlovely, acted upon, it destroys our democracy. You know, whether it's AP, IB, or MAP, we all understand and are united by this basic belief. And I think equally so, this tenet from business guru Peter Drucker. And it all starts with our mission and vision. So I am curious. Feel free to write in the chat section of this Google Meet. What is ASM's mission to you? If you could sum it up in just 3 words, what would they be for you? And I'll give you a few moments to go ahead and type those in the chat section. And I'll share with you after what the answers were from the staff. So it'd be interesting to compare the two. Nice. Nurture, excellence, diversity. I see that. Okay. I know it's a challenge. It's sort of a morning test. You are at a school after all. Multicultural, pursuit of education for a lifetime. Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, I'll show you now what I appreciate you sharing those words. They're very powerful and meaningful. When I think of the students that I've gotten to know and the staff, I see that ring true. So very rich. So this is what the staff wrote for their 3 words in a Wordle. So this is the entire staff at the start of the school year during orientation, really just my first few days on campus. I asked them, what are the 3 words for you that would best represent the mission, what we're trying to do here at the school? And you can see these words. The bigger they are, it means more people actually wrote those words. And if you take a real close look at this, I think you'll find that our mission, our stated mission, which is to foster excellence through critical thinking and creativity, build resilience and character, promote responsible global citizenship, and encourage lifelong learning. I think you're going to see those words all somewhere in here. Some are bigger than others, which to me communicates that the mission is lived, it's alive, it's in the minds of our faculty and staff, which is absolutely critical for an organization to really know and to live its mission in the classroom with the students and parents and the greater community. So how does ASM's mission and vision inform its community's learning metrics for students, for faculty, for staff, the board, the parents? And in what ways can our learning metrics be reimagined to effectively and authentically embrace this vision and mission, external assessments, and the future needs of our learners? And some of these answers are offered by educational thought leaders, and I'd like to share them with you now. So some of these are offered by Tony Wagner, the great educational researcher out of Harvard, where he wrote in the Global Achievement Gap in about 5 years ago or so, critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration across networks, and leading by influence, being agile, taking initiative, entrepreneurialism, effective communication, and curiosity and imagination. He termed these the 7 survival skills of the 21st century. In the same year, from the same school at Harvard, in Project Zero, David Perkins came out with Future Wise. It's a great book about 6 beyonds or life-worthy learnings. And here he's talking about learning beyond basic skills to 21st century skills and dispositions like collaboration, critical thinking, entrepreneurialism, beyond traditional disciplines to hybrid themes like bioethics and ecology and challenges of our times, and beyond discrete disciplines to interdisciplinary topics and problems. And again, beyond regional matters to global perspectives and problems and citizenship, and beyond mastering content and beyond prescribed content. And again, we've got others as well, from Pat Bassett, NEIS. He was the president of NEIS for many years, looking at the 5 C's plus 1 of 21st century learning: creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, cooperation, communication, and that plus 1 is cosmopolitanism. We can also draw from the MacArthur Foundation, which came up with the big shifts, the 6 big shifts in education in this century. And some of these are not new in the sense, if you even reflect back to John Dewey, going from knowing to doing, or learning by doing, moving from teacher-centered to student-centered, moving from the individual to the team. Instead of consuming information in the classroom, you're constructing meaning. You're curators of ideas and new knowledge. And when we think of schools, we're looking at networks, whether it be online with peers or connecting with experts around the globe. And really moving from high stakes testing that you hear about in the States so frequently, to high value demonstrations of learning. And here's an interesting guy. I don't know if you follow Young Zhao. I've met him a few times, conferences and whatnot. And he has also come up with this idea of really an entrepreneurial education. A world-class education for him is global, creative, and entrepreneurial, where it's really product-oriented, where students are creating things that they could go out and sell, and their campus is global. It's everywhere. Really interesting man. More recently, you may have heard of deeper learning competencies, whether it be content mastery, effective communication, self-directed learning and collaboration. I think you're seeing a lot of themes that are emerging. And what I've done, and this is, I know, rather small, it's rather sort of broad, but I put together these different educational thought leaders' ideas on what is the future of education. What are the things that ASM, as a school, as a parent body, as a faculty, staff, board, administration, what are some things we need to be thinking about and doing now, so that our students, our kids, your kids, are able to have a bright and successful future? And what I have here is sort of a meta-analysis of all the different themes that you'll see and what's important in education, whether it be Tony Wagner or OECD or IB, Alliance for Education. I think you'll see in this first yellow band here a focus on critical thinkers. What is critical thinking? Whether it be the mastering the content, or problem solving. The second band here, this green band, you see curiosity and imagination. People who are curious, reflective, having this academic mindset is one of curiosity. The third band, looking at collaboration and networking, looking at regional matters. This fourth band here is looking at, again, being nimble and cooperating, communicating, being open-minded, having that perspective, flexibility of multiple facets of an understanding of a concept or people. And then lastly, another broad band is a focus on initiative and entrepreneurialism, really doing. You're self-directed, balanced, you're creating new value in the world and in the classroom. So, as we look at this meta-analysis, we may consider, well, where does ASM demonstrate strength? Where are our opportunities, and how so? So what I have here is a chart that shows the percentage point differences between what teachers and students prioritize as, what are the skills that they need now and in the future. And this is coming from Microsoft and McKinsey Group study, the Class of 2030 report. What are the top 3 priorities for students? Digital skills, creativity, and relationship skills. The top 3 priorities for teachers: literacy, critical thinking, and numeracy. And this was taken, these surveys by students in the US, the UK, Canada, and Singapore. And again, while 63% of teachers embrace social emotional learning, it is encouraging. This study found that the growing mismatch between job requirements and available talent suggests that more needs to be done. So this is something to be thinking about. These relate to sort of the soft skills that that you find in leadership courses and whatnot as being of value. And we're realizing that in the classroom, these are critical skills that our students need, especially in this day and age of the computer and distance learning and Zooms and Google Meets, such as the one we're on right now. So when we think about connecting vision and mission to ASM's future, our stated mission and vision must be known and understood. And effectively guide our decision-making and ethos of the school. I think it must also reflect our lived mission, that is, not just the stated mission, but our lived mission must reflect the present and the future of education, and it has to serve our community today and into tomorrow. So if we think about the implications of a clear vision and mission, and as reflect on the skills and knowledge and dispositions that have been identified by many educational thought leaders, what are these implications? So if we just take innovation, here at ASM, we seek to attract and retain students and staff who are growth-oriented, entrepreneurial, and future-focused, regarding their learning. They're curious, they're creative, and caring people, and critical thinkers. They don't just sit around and wait to be told what to do. Rather, they step up responsibly, and they thoughtfully take initiative and seek diverse, inclusive ways to achieve mission. And this relates to all aspects of the school, especially in admissions and hiring. So what are the implications for collaboration? Well, ASM seeks collaboration, whether it be student and teacher, internal and external, professional learning communities or PLCs within and without the school, through school cohorts, interdisciplinary courses, internships, dual credit programs, alumni, business partnerships, public service, parents, connecting with other universities in the region and in the world. And our collaborations should reflect these dimensions and facets of our mission and vision. What are the implications for evaluation? Well, as we shared earlier from Peter Drucker, what we do is what is measured. And so from students to the board, each is assessed against achievement of the mission and vision of the school. Implications for strategy, well, we would imagine holistically and systemically and be open rather than siloed in our approaches. And of course, our promises is to empower the students in their learning, continue a strong legacy of results with college acceptances and career opportunities for our students, even before they graduate from ASM. Um, and really importantly, for our students to pursue their life's passions. They can discover them here at ASM and to pursue them at ASM and beyond. So again, whether it's students or faculty, staff, agency, passion, and purpose will provide the drivers to accomplish the mission. So one area we might find this combination of agency, passion, and purpose combined in 21st century learning metrics is in maker spaces and creative labs and STEAM or STEM learning. And this year, actually, ASM is working on a couple of projects, really still on the burner, on the stove. One is remodeling the science labs. I'm pointing out here because that's where they are. And a second is a creative lab, like a digital design lab with graphic design, web design, photo and videography, and also looking at a makerspace like robotics and engineering. These are all very exciting and I think doable this year, so that we will have, come September of 2021, everything in place. I am confident we can make this happen. We're working on it now. And in fact, right after this call, a vendor from Casablanca will be meeting with us and our science team to start looking at things that we're going to be purchasing very shortly for our labs. So with a clear, knowable vision and mission, faculty and staff are empowered to inspire, innovate, and cultivate to lead their schools into a disruptive future where students and staff, agency, passion, and purpose are expressed in measurable and meaningful ways. You know, I began my presentation with a photo of my daughter, so I think it's only right that I end with another related one. And this photo shows a valley between Mount Haleakala and the West Maui Mountains in Hawaii, on the island of Maui, which is my home. It was taken as we began our adoption process of our daughter, Nina. It was a simultaneously happy and scary moment in our lives where we made some hard decisions that fortunately ended beautifully. You know, what you don't see or could know by looking at this image is the field under the sunflowers. You know, just a few years ago, after over 100 years, the former sugar plantation on this field shut down. You know, the world had changed and C&H Sugar was unable to change, innovate, and grow into new industries. It's a sad story and reminder of our need to continuously learn and grow, even at 100 or 25, as we celebrate our 25th anniversary. If you're interested and excited about what you've heard today and the realm of possibilities of what lies ahead, with an emphasis on innovation and future focus and growth mindset, I invite you to join this adventure. Offer up your passions and engage as parents. I think I'll stop there and invite any comments, questions, and so forth.
Hi, Casey. So
Hi.
I just have a question for you. First of all, thank you for that. That was really interesting, and I'm so excited to hear about what is going to be coming down the pipeline for the science labs, makerspace, etc. I'm excited about your new ideas. I'm excited about your energy. I just think that the future is looking really bright. I have one question. I'm wondering about how you feel that the mission statement can trickle down into the classroom via curriculum. So we'll have in the future we'll have IB in upper school, grades 11 and 12, and 10 being a year of preparation. What type of preparation and curriculum will we have in middle school and grade 9 in order to prepare the students for what's to come in IB, bearing in mind what the mission statement is? You mentioned Project Zero from Harvard early on in your presentation. Are you looking at Project Zero for middle school?
Yeah, great question. And definitely these are items that the team and I have been, thinking about and discussing, even before I had boots on the ground here in Marrakesh, starting from middle school. So in middle school, one thing that I have seen in another school is a program um, that was termed exploratories, and it's really appropriate for middle schoolers, right? Middle schoolers are active, engaged. They want to explore the world. They want to check out what's going on. And I really like this idea of having a menu of options of different, and they change throughout the year, the quarters and whatnot. But it could be like a robotics class, it could be a coding, it could be dance, it could be music and band, it could be a variety of things where it allows students an opportunity to try new things, to explore new ideas, get their hands-on learning, sort of like project based, and get their bodies engaged, especially at the middle school, right? I mean, we all know middle schoolers. So I see that as really coming back to the mission, and that was a great question. So again, curiosity, creativity, really having the kids engaged and lighting up their passions and agency, where they take ownership of their learning, and the teachers, the faculty and TAs are really just guiding them in helping to along on their journey, their learning journey. In ninth grade as well, so middle school up through ninth and 10th, so sort of the pre-ID curriculum. The one area that I think is a real strength of this school is languages. So one area that we've been discussing even is offering even a fourth language. So in addition to English, French, Arabic, but to have Spanish. So right now, the plan is Spanish as a fourth language in the 11th and 12th, but we're talking about going 10th, 9th, perhaps even down to the middle school to provide an opportunity for them to, to explore other languages and to build on our strengths, one of our strengths as a school. Certainly, you mentioned Project Zero. Yeah, they've got a lot of wonderful programs, a lot of great research coming out of there, great educational thought leaders. Whether it be professional development for our staff, or admin, certainly there's opportunities there for increased collaboration. There is another group too I want to mention, and I had hoped to implement it this year, but I think we're going to wait until next year. It's with RSI. It's a research group. They do active research, action research with staff with certain schools throughout the world. And I began conversations with them in July before I came here, and they're excited about partnering with ASM, which would allow for our faculty and staff to really become researchers of their own teaching in a real professional way. And the key thing about this is the beneficiaries of this are the students, right? Because they're analyzing their own and researching about their own educational professional practice. It could be the implementation of IB, it could be sort of an exploratory program, or so on. And really allows the whole program, the whole curricular program, to elevate, to rise up. So I'm really excited about that that opportunity coming up.
Yeah, because last year when Adam was at Washington International School, they had Project Zero for middle school. And I really liked it because it was a very hands-on experience. And then their school was also, as a pilot school in the US, they were also responsible for teaching other Washington, D.C. area public school professionals how to incorporate Project Zero into their curriculum. So there was quite a good exchange that was going on. So I'm sure there are other programs that are also really excellent. And that's why I was just wondering what direction we'll be going for middle school in order to prepare the students for IB, which is quite rigorous.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's other groups out there as well. One sort of well-known one is PBL Works. They recently changed their name. Yeah, PBL Works is a great organization, I think out of San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Casey.
Absolutely, yeah. Other questions? No? Okay. Well, well, I see from Yasir, can we have a PDF of the presentation? Well, the entire presentation, if you're still connected, Yasir, is recorded, and you can see the whole presentation. If there is a strong desire to see the PDF of it, I'm happy to provide that as well. But again, this session is being recorded. I mentioned at the very start, I hope everyone is okay. I think there are people who hopped in midway through their presentation. Okay. Are there any other comments or questions before I close? It's been about an hour.
Yeah, just one thing, Dr. Asato. That was really exciting, and I'm full of, as you know, Nancy has said, we're super excited about the bright future of our kids. I was just wondering, I mean, because looking at the presentation, I've got more and more excited. And I'm just wondering, would you be presenting this to the children in some way, especially the upper school kids? There's some things that I thought were quite interesting, like you talked about the 7 skills for survival in the new age. I mean, I think the kids also should hear that from the head of the school, the bigger picture, the things that kids, and maybe even hear it from the kids, what they think are the tools that they need to actually fulfill their potential. Because really, what we want the kids to do when they leave here is to feel that they've been empowered and that they have the skills leaving ASM to fulfill their potential. I mean, obviously, I don't think that all the presentation, but the bits that where they could connect to, I think it would be quite nice. I have 2 children in upper school. There's some things that they've been working on a lot, like, the last few years, they've been doing a lot of teamwork, collaborative projects, exchanging things in Google, and working on things together. Many of the things that you talked about, they've been actually being educated like that. But these are the skills that they need to be actually very strong contenders for the future.
Yeah.
But I think that they have to hear it from you.
I'd be delighted to. Let's see if we can make that happen. Yeah. And like you said, certain parts. I think one thing that's really key, and I have shared it as separately as a file with the staff, is the meta-analysis with all the skills and knowledge and dispositions and whatnot, because you can look at it and say, look, this isn't coming from me. This is coming from all over the world, from top organizations and people who have been thinking about dedicating their lives to this.
Absolutely. And that McKinsey chart was also quite interesting because, yeah,
that was.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Thank you for joining us. I know you're busy and looks like you're in the car, so thank you for joining us on the move.
Exactly, as always.
Okay. I'll close now, but I really, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you again for joining us. And I look forward to our next meeting. It's typically the second Thursday of each month.
Principally, you're in the car.
I'll stop recording now.